had the dream again, she said, as she lifted the cup of coffee to her lips. The cigarette jutted from between her thin fingers in the same hand. I thought for a moment she might burn herself, so close did the smoking orange ember come to her cheek. But she did not seem to notice. "Which one?" I asked, fully well knowing what dream she was speaking of. But I was making an artful attempt to downplay how bizarre the reoccurring dream actually was. "The same one I've been having, the one about the basement." As she said this, she used the cigarette as if it were a laser pointer and indicated the ancient gray-greenish door on the other side of the kitchen. "It means something. It has to. And you know what it is. You always have some idea of the meaning of those things. You always have." "I am the great dream prophet," I joked as I shoveled another mouthful of amazing syrup-drenched pancakes into my arrogant mouth. "Yeah, well, you do. And I can always tell when you know. But you hide it so as to not make people uncomfortable, because you see things about them, and it's embarrassing or scary or something, and that's what you're doing right now. You know." "No, seriously, I don't even remember which one you're talking about," I lied. "Refresh my memory." "Why do you play these games with me? I can tell when you're lying, Brody." "Look, I think I know which one you're talking about, but make sure I'm right." "It's the only dream I've even mentioned for years, asshole. In the dream, I'm getting out of bed late at night, and even though I've had the dream dozens of times, I never know it's a dream while I'm having it. It's just as if I'm waking up and getting out of bed in waking reality. There is nothing to indicate anything strange or out of sorts. I can even remember the tile of the kitchen floor being cold as I walk onto it from the carpet in the living room. It's very quiet, and I can hear the click of the light switch as I turn the light on, but it doesn't work. The kitchen stays dark, but I can see the basement door in the moonlight from the windows by the sink. Just then, as I see it, I notice that it is opening slightly, slowly creeping open, and a hand comes out from behind it and clasps the door. Someone is on the other side of the door with their hand around the edge, holding the door open. What does the hand look like? It's very small and white in the moonlight. It's so pale it almost glows in the darkness. Is it a child's hand? Maybe, but it could just be a small hand. What happens next? Even though I'm terrified, I start walking towards the door. I don't want to see who's there, but I cannot stop myself. I go through the motion every time I dream it. I grab the door and pull it open to see who is there. And what is there? Something horrible. What? I can't remember. I can't bring the memory of the image up in my mind. I just remember that it terrifies me and that something awful happens. All I remember is the door flying open and there being so much darkness. And I wake up screaming and shaking. What does it mean? Just tell me. I can handle it. But you don't know what is on the other side of the door? How can you know the meaning if you can't remember it? I washed the pancakes down with ice-cold milk. I don't know, but you do. She snuffed out what was left of the cigarette and instantly lit another one. Look, it's not what's behind the door. It's the cycle. The fact that you dream it over and over again in a loop, and you can't snap out. That's what it means. You know something bad is behind the door, but you can't stop yourself. It's like an autopilot experience. The thing behind the door is arbitrary. It's not even indicated as even being that scary. Hell, it might be your hand. You're seeing it as if it were another's. Why that door? Because it's a basement door. It leads to a darker, lower place in the house, like your unconscious mind. There's something there you don't want to confront. But the dream says you must. You must face the thing from the basement and learn its truth. Or maybe you are learning its truth every night, but then erasing it because it is too much for your waking self. I stood up and I walked to the door in question and opened it. This is your mind, and it has a message. You know what it is. You just have to remember it. Bullshit. Look, you asked me, and I told you. You know more. I really don't. Unless maybe the basement is haunted, and you can't accept that. There it is. What? You know what was behind the door. It was a ghost. I was just making a joke, but yeah, your description did sound kind of ghost-like. Ghosts represent a lot of things. They are the past haunting the present. Sometimes they are crimes, sins, or shames come to haunt the living. Sometimes they are vengeance or justice for their crimes and sins. What was my ghost? Seriously, I have to tell you that too. I turned and walked back to the table. It's your dream, and it's your ghost. You tell me, what does it look like when you open the door? I don't know. I won't let myself remember. Taking her arm, I lifted her from the chair and took her a few steps until she stood facing the door. I then closed the door and stood behind her, speaking to her ear quietly. Just open the door and see what is there. Oh, fuck no. But you may be able to visualize it. What does your basement ghost look like? Almost shaking, she stepped forward and, turning the knob, began to open the door. Can you see it? I can, she whispered, her voice low and broken. And what do you see? It's me. I see me. I see myself standing in the doorway. I'm very pale and cold. There's an injury, a wound on my head. What does this mean? What do you think it means? I don't know. I mean, it can't be that I'm dead. Am I dead, Brody? Yes. You died quite some time ago. I'm so sorry, dear. The dream, as you call it, was a vision. You've been trying to accept this. How long has it been that I've been like this? I've been coming and speaking with you for almost a year, but it's been longer. The people that live here now asked me to speak with you. You open their doors and walk through the house. It frightens them. I'm sorry. Don't be. They understand now. They just want to help you, dear. How can I be helped? You don't have to stay here and do this anymore. You can move on now that you know. You just have to accept it. What happened? How did this happen? You fell down the stairs into the basement. One of the steps broke. What now? What do I do? Where do I go? You can stop looking into the darkness now. You can start looking for the light.